Today is a Sunday. What's the date today, Mr. Patrick? I don't know. But I know it's the last weekend. Next weekend is bank holiday. Yeah, we have a bank holiday weekend. End of summer. And that's when we have the carnival. The Notting Hill Carnival. I attended the Notting Hill Carnival 20 years ago. I've never been back. It's a fun thing to do, to go to the carnival, you know what I mean? Lots of fun and partying and, you know, music and then everything. Anyway, today I'm bringing you up to speed. Those who are enjoying the Angelina story. I told you the story is a true story. 1997, to be exact. And the story is still going on, people. It's not going to stop. There's a lot. There is a lot. And right now, you've really dug into the story. And you know what's happening. I'm in Arusha. You know about the snake bite. So let's do a deep dive. Let's deep dive into the story to bring you up to date. You know, there are people who are not reading the story. There are people who are just following the story, the pictures. And there are people who are just following the storyline. Just, you know, for entertainment. They know Kegusi's stories. They know my stories. They love my stories. They say, man, that's a sweet story. Angelina was a billionaire's daughter. And she was finding her place in life. She had finished her studies. She had returned back from the United States. So the type of person I'm talking about in this story, who I fell in love with, was not Tom, Dick, Harry person. She really had her foot in one place and she was in love with me 100%. Ile ilikuwa mapenzi yenyewe bwana. Niwaambie watu wangu, it was true love. And it just simmered. And I think I fitted her expectations at that time. Remember, let me take you back. I was a student in Kenya. So 2 years and some half months, I complete my studies in Kenya. Maharishi International University is in Limuru. Are you with me? I want you to get this story. It's my first time to be away from home, to be away for a long shot. I'm going to study. Back in the day, studying in Kenya was like studying abroad. It was taken highly regarded. My mom was very proud. And I should have gone to Makerere University, as I've always told you. Makerere University had offered me a place, but they were giving me a different course. They were giving me social works and the administration, swaswa. But I had applied for law, School of Law, government sponsorship, and then my mom felt like it wasn't worth paying for law as a private student, and it wasn't worth it for me to go. You know, back in the day, arts was always not looked up as a good course. Arts, swaswa, social works and administration. So that's how I missed out Makerere. And September the 13th is how I leave Kampala via a Kamba bus. And we went together with my mom. I had been admitted in the university already. The university had been promoting itself in Uganda. So I attended their conference at Silver Springs Hotel. So all the applications were done in Uganda, and then I received my admission in the post. You get me? That's 1994. So I'm in Kenya now. It was a very, very memorable journey. I didn't sleep up to Nairobi. The Akamba bus left Kampala at 3 p.m., stopping at Busia at the border, Kisumu, Nakuru, Nairobi at around 3 p.m. And then we would check into the Ambassador Hotel. My mom knew Kenya very well. In the 70s, she had been in Kenya as a student. Alikuwa anajua Kenya sana, sana, sana. And we had a house in Kenya, Kirereshwa, many years ago. I think it had been sold. I don't remember those things, so many things have changed. So we're talking about the 1990s. Are you with me, people? So I am picked up. I remember very well. The university sent Muhammad. He was a Ugandan working at the university, driving the caravan, the van, the university van, to pick me up at Kenyatta Avenue, Wimpy restaurant. That is Kenyatta Avenue, isn't it? Yeah. And then we would go to Nakumat, do shopping, all my essentials, and then head off to Maharishi in Limuru, Tigoni. We arrived there at lunchtime, 1 p.m.ish. They had picked me up around 9 in the morning. They made a very big effort. So that's when I arrived at Maharishi, and I am met by many students, Ugandans who are studying there, Tanzanians, Kenyans, whatever. Everybody, they were happy to see me. They were waiting for me. I think that morning, word had gone out that they are going to pick a Ugandan student. So I arrived in the midst of all expectations, and that is the very day, in the evening. No. The Kenyan beauty was coming to the university. Yeah, that's when we set eyes on each other. The Kenyan beauty, and that would change my time. We fell in love. I fall in love there. And that is going to be the same thing that happened to me with the Tanzanian. The day I arrived in Tanzania is the day I met Angelina. The day I arrived in Kenya is the very day I met the Kenyan beauty. How ironic, how coincidental is that? These things happen. Anyway, I would spend 1 year at the Maharishi University, and that is the love story I shared with you. From Maharishi International University with love, mapenzi yenyewe. That is the story. But there are two stories in one. There is one, the first part is my maiden voyage to Nairobi, 1994. Then, because there was so much material I was dealing with, so I said, let me split it up. So I ended up doing two stories. It's a lot of content. It's a lot of content. You get me? So I was there 1 year. Then I would leave, return to Uganda, then come back to study, self-sponsored, at the Institute of Shipping and Management. That's where I meet Hamadi, while I'm staying at the Pumwani Boys Hostel, Isili, California Estate. Hey, do you know that? Munajua Isili? You don't know. So that would expose me to Kenya, the different Kenya that I wouldn't have had a chance to see. While studying at the Maharishi, the caliber of students I was studying with were not the usual students. The Kenyatta family, the Koinange, the Jerry Wamalwa family, very, very powerful families. Their kids. So I got that exposure. But when I came to Isiri, it was a different story. It was a different ball game. Nilikuwa natembea tu kwa shule. I used to walk from Pumwani to Nairobi. That's where the college was, Tomboya Street. So in the process of all that, I would meet and engage with students, and I built a very strong friendship with the Tanzanians. Kazini, Hamadi, na mwingine alikuwa anaitwa nani? There were 3. Tulikuwa tunatembea pamoja kila asubuhi kwenda kwa shule. They were in a different college near my college. Back then there were so many colleges in Nairobi. So we kind of had a very good rapport. So that is the friendship I'm talking about I had with Hamadi, that when he finishes his studies, he invites me to Arusha. That's where he was coming from. He said, Patrick, you have to come and visit me. I talk about you all the time. Wanakujua sana. My parents, they hear about you. Mkono rafiki Muganda. They used to call me the Muganda boy. Hamadi, I would love to meet him again. So, we had a very, very good experience at that time in our lives. We used to wash clothes together. We used to, when I set up my business, the photography business, alikuwa ananisaidia kupiga mapicha. He taught me Swahili, the proper Swahili, So, I made this promise that I have to go to Arusha. And it's about that time when everybody was returning back to their countries. I moved from Pumwani to Kasarani, USIU, United States International University, Kasarani, to stay with my cousin. So most of the people ended up thinking that I was studying in USIU. I made a very big impression on the USIU students. I used to even take their bus to Nairobi to go and study in my college. And I would have joined USIU because I was making a lot of money by then. My business was booming. Yeah. So, but I would leave when I received the message from Kampala. My mom was sick and I had to return. So you see what I'm talking about, people? So I'm caught in between, because I knew if I return to Uganda, I'm not going to return to Kenya. That you would tell, because if mom is sick, everything, the responsibility was not going to be on me. A lot of things have to be done, hospital, things like that. So it was hands full. I was hands full. Are we together, people? I want you to follow this story because it's got a lot. So on top of that, the Kenyan beauty has left for the United States. There's a time in between I returned, when I left Maharishi International University and went back to Uganda. I simply disappeared and she had no clue where I had gone, what was going on, what had happened. I was in Uganda. So by the time I came back, alikuwa amehepa. So when I went to Limuru, those are the pictures you've seen when I'm dressed in a blue jean shirt. That is the day I returned back to Maharishi. But I was withdrawing my academic year because I was supposed to transfer to the United States, Iowa. You know the state of Iowa? Yeah. And then When I went to their house, if you read the story, you know that I had come into their lives 100%. The parents were so happy to see me. They were very, very humble. They told me, blah, blah. They gave me the whole story. So they had made the decision to send their daughter to study abroad. And that was it. We would rekindle our communication later when I'm in the UK. She wrote to me. But things had changed now, you know, time and place. You know, she's in the US, I'm in the UK, Kenya, you know, everything is different. And by then, I think she had a boyfriend, and then they got married. She sent me the pictures of our wedding. I have them. So we remained friends for life. So that is it. I was a bit broken-hearted, you know, when I returned to Kenya. And I am leaving Kenya now, going back to Uganda. So I make the decision to do what? To go to Arusha, as I had promised. I had promised Hamadi that nitakuja nikuone kuka Arusha. I'll come to Arusha. So it was in that cacophony of things that were happening that I make this decision. Are we together? So
Not today. Not together.
Yes, coach.
How are you?
Come and say hello.
Hi.
Here, they don't see you. This is my best friend, coach. They know you. How are you, sir? Are you coming inside?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll see you.
Yeah.
All right, coach. Yeah. So I end up boarding. I remember that day. Riverside. Riverside is behind Lagos Road, where the Akamba bus used to have its station. That's where I took the Tuafik. Tuafik was a very big bus company in Kenya. It had routes to Uganda, Tanzania, of course Kenya up to Garissa and Somalia. It was a very huge bus company. It was everywhere. Plus Akamba. So they used to compete. So my journey to Arusha begins from there. I was used now to long distance travel because I had been to Mombasa, I had been to different places around Kenya. The Mombasa story, I went by train. Kenya Railways train. That's another story. You know the story with the Claren, the English beauty. And there are many stories in Kenya. That's why I came of age. My life comes of age while I'm in Kenya. You know, I was meeting very, very nice people. Safari Park Hotel. If you Google Kenya Safari Park, you see it. Very, very top end. You know, it's a top end. It's a hotel. Kasarani. This is Kasarani Stadium, Thika Road. So, my journey begins to Arusha. I remember that day. It was a morning journey because I was supposed to arrive. Back in the day, all buses live in Kenya. Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine. Long time.
Yes, that's good.
Nice to see you.
Angie, have a nice day.
All right, thank you. Back in the day, all the buses that went to Tanzania, Arusha, arrived there at 2 p.m. So whichever bus you took from Nairobi, they all left at a particular time. So we had talked this through with Ahmadi. And he tells me, where ukifika Arusha, when you reach the bus station, we have a shop. We have a very big shop, retail shop, wholesale, very big shop within the bus terminal. His dad was a businessman, very, very successful businessman. You're talking of 1996, 97. So So I knew where to start, I knew what to do. So, but the communication back in the day was not like it is today. You had to have bearings. So, ukishafika Arusha, you wouldn't miss me. So it was a bit of a gamble, but the communication was, if I am to travel, we had arranged all these things together while in Nairobi before he left. We're Muganda. If you are to travel to Arusha, travel on a Friday, Juma, and arrive at 2 p.m. So being me, I stuck to that. Are we together, people? And the day I arrived in Arusha, he was waiting, I think, because the buses used to enter the bus park. And that's their shop almost. So probably he would know, he would come and check, at 2 p.m. So he would come and see who's coming off the bus, things like that. And I was very surprised as the bus approached the bus park. I could see whatever he had told me, that when you enter the bus park, there's a big building, we have a shop there. So I was figuring out things. So the bus stops at the terminal. And I'm coming out and I see him. I was very excited. Hey, Muganda, mekuja Arusha, So we end up going to the shop because he was working in the shop, his dad's shop. So the dad was in the shop. They were very smartly dressed gentlemen, and I was very happy to see me. And then ni wewe. You know this friendship, right? When you have a friend and he talks about you in the family and they know more about you than you know yourself. That is the situation I'm talking about. They were so happy to see me. And then I would settle down, blah, 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 in the shop. They gave me a drink, soda, but he was still working. It was about 2 coming to 3 p.m. Alafu, I said to Hamadi, let me just go out and have a walk about, just to see Arusha, just to walk around the streets. As I crossed street after street, that is when I set eyes on Angelina. She was walking with her mom, and they were in town just shopping around. They were just doing normal. It was a Friday, you know what I mean? And then for some reason, we all stopped. You know, when you're new in a place, you're kind of feeling like you want to be drawn into everything. And then, alafu niliwasalamia. I said, hello, habari. But the Swahili I was speaking, ilikuwa tofauti. It sounded different. So that pretty much drew them in. So then I would tell them, Amia, nimekuja kuangalia rafiki yangu. Yes, jambo. And then it was a brief interaction. It was that brief. You know, they were strange to me, I was strange to them. And that was it. And they wished me a very good holiday and kila kitu. That was Friday. Saturday, that's all in the story. And then Sunday, Hamadi would host. There was a very big party celebrating his return, graduation and everything. And that is when Angelina would turn up with her family. And Hamadi was so surprised because nilimwambia, because he asked me, umekuwa wapi? Why did you take long? Blah, 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 blah. So he didn't probe so much. But I told him that I've met some people and I've talked to them, blah, tumesha zungumsha kidogo, blah, blah, blah. Ni watu wa Tanzania ni wazuri sana. And that was it. That Friday. So on Sunday evening, when Angelina turns up with her parents at the party, they were known to the Amadi family. So that begins the story of Angelina. Hey, that night, that evening, when I set eyes on her, it was, these are rare situations that become encounters, and it kind of swept us off our feet, and it would take me and her to the stratosphere. When I picked up the courage, in such an atmosphere, or in such a situation, there's always what I would call your guards are down, and pretty much nakujua. And as the events went on that night, it was sure to be a validation, because we were talking about education, studying. She's just also returned from the US. I've finished my studies in Kenya. Hamad is graduating, he's finished. Tulikuwa tunajulikana. So the rapport was pretty much in-house. You know what I mean? That is the story. That is the story, my people. I've got to, because whatever would happen in Tanzania thereafter, I was in Tanzania for over a month. I'm supposed to be in Uganda. My mom is wondering, where am I? My mom had sent out a message for me to return. I told you this. When she fell on the steps of the new taxi park, she had a fall, walking, and she stooped and fell. She would end up in hospital, and later on what they would find, it was a stroke. Do you know stroke? I mean a stroke, something like that. And she takes ill. She would go to a Akamba bus, Dowington Road. That's where the Akamba offices used to be in Kampala. And then write a letter, give it to the bus drivers, and the bus drivers would bring the letter the next day to me. I used to be a frequent fixture around Lagos Road, going to River Road. There used to be a hotel where Ugandans used to hang out. The business people used to come trading between Kenya and Uganda. So as a student in Kenya, walikuwa wananijua. So that evening, the bus had arrived. Hey, kijana Muganda. Because back in the day, you had to use landmarks as communication. So any communication from Uganda, it had to be via Kamba bus. So that's why you would get messages, or you would send messages back. Or sometimes you come on a piga simu. We didn't have mobile phones back in the day, people. That's what I'm talking about. So when I got that message, the bus driver told me that my mom was very sick. Alikuwa mgonjwa sana. So the situation wasn't, I knew my mom very well, so my mom wouldn't be just about anything. But she wanted me back to return to Uganda. So 1 month I'm in Tanzania. I get bitten by a snake. You know all this in the story. And then I'm in love. I'm in love. Kama penzi yenyewe. Now, Angelina didn't know all this, that I'm supposed to return back to Uganda because of my mom. She knew I had finished my studies. Yes, I finished. Sasa nini? Unafanya nini? Unataka kufanya kazi? they had a very, very thriving business. Her dad, sorry. Very rich, industrialist, whatever they have, lots of things. She's very, very rich. Billionaire's daughter. She's the only daughter. So the chances of me marrying her were 100%. And the mom seemed to have the seal of approval. She seemed to have blessed everything. You know what I'm talking about? I was in love with Angelina. This is the true. The story is continuing. And when I'm bitten by a snake, that's how I end up moving into their family house. The parents were here, the parents went to Dodoma. And I'm going to find out more in the revelations I'm going to give you. Things were moving fast for me. You people. You haven't been in love, man, I tell you. So, that's how our story goes. And I have always shied away from this. It's a revelation. I was young. I've finished my studies. If I had stayed in Kenya, minus everything else, that I had to return to Uganda, I was to marry the Kenyan beauty. Nilikuwa naenda kuoa. Her parents, kila kitu. I gave you the story, kila kitu. Now I'm in Tanzania, everything is a repeat. Now I'm going to come to Uganda. Bettina. Oh, people. Let me get out of here. So, in life, Kegus, I've fallen in love with 3 women. That's what they call an entanglement. An entanglement. Hey. Now, there's lots of stories, people. There's the American Beauty. That one. We bid ourselves goodbye at the airport, New York, JFK. In fact, the flight almost left me because I had to go to Newark Airport. She was crying. She brought flour. I'll give you that story, people. You wait and see. Wait. So, those who are enjoying the Tanzanian beauty story, sit tight. What is coming next is going to... Hello, darling.
I recognize that voice. How are you?
I came for the class.
No, I'm going to do... I did Pilates yesterday, so I'm just going to do a light session today.
Okay.
Yeah?
I'll see you.
What does he do in this class, though?
It's a